Good morning on what is a mild, grey and overcast day. It is Wednesday the 12th of April. I've got a nice hot cup of tea. And a parcel to finish unboxing. So I have already pulled out of here and looked at Woodfall and let's have a look. Willow and the Haunted Hamlet. These are all setting booklets from the Lazy Lich, and they're for the Old School Renaissance. And the next thing I am going to look at is the Toxic Wood, which is a corrosive hexcrawl, and I do like a good hexcrawl. So we literally open up and we've got a map of the hexcrawl. On the back we have a random treasure table for basic, advanced and rare, and this is designed for use for the old school essentials rule set from Necrotic Gnome. Great thing about the old school essentials, it's based upon the BX version of Basic Dungeons and Dragons, designed by Tom Mulvey, and in the new version presented by Necrotic Gnome, it's incredibly accessible and playable. It's Basic Dungeons and Dragons, clearly presented. It's an absolutely fantastic book. So we get into Toxic Wood. We've got the introduction and notes about the various plants and their toxicity levels, which will form sort of like the major theme of the setting. So, the Toxic Wood is a deadly wilderness adventure into a mutated ecosystem designed for old school essentials. The players will be told that an arcane distress signal from the residents of a small town called Mugwort has reached a secretive council of wizards who have hired them to conduct a rescue mission. These wizards are actually dead, and as their murderers, a group of interdimensional hunters known as the Order of Six Circles from the Shadow Plane who sent the message. They are stealing the wizards' identities and using the players as proxy to capture a prisoner who escaped from the castle into the hazy, luminescent wood. So, got notes down there on playstyle, bit of an introduction for the players, the player characters. So everything there, sort of like beginning notes for both for the Dungeon Master and for the playstyle. So I've got very flappy, busy pigeons, so we've got options here to add a background to the player characters to tie it into the Toxic Wood as a setting. And to help the player characters, the wizards are sent along an orb. A magical orb in passed with, essentially, and the thing is, it's a bit like the Palantir in Lord of the Rings. Nothing good comes of being given or getting hold of an orb in a fantasy game. Turn over the page, we've got rumours, each player begins with one, random mutations that the player characters might suffer because they're going into a toxic, mutagenic environment. And here are the plants. And the thing is, what you can actually do with this is take it and go, right, I'm going to run a completely different setting. This will make an interesting kind of, with the mutagenic toxic elements, would make a great kind of setting for a post-apocalyptic setting for Gamma World, for example. Change the names, change the details, and you've got an adventure. And then, so we've got all the plants that the player characters might run into and not want to encounter. NPCs, including the prisoner and Enzo the enchanter. And then a really nice thing about the books from the Lazy Lich is that if the players do this, this is what will happen tables. So, for example, if the players save the villagers without the prisoner, i.e. the prisoner, the wizards will light the players through the orb, telling them there is a chosen one who should be among the villagers and must be somewhere else in the wood. They have seen in the prophecy the chosen one, that if the chosen one is not brought with the villagers, all will perish while escaping. So, yes. Anyway, so this is backed up with a table of events, basically a timeline of the events that will happen, in addition to whatever the player characters are doing. And here we have the actual map of Mugwort. So, descriptions, of the houses and the survivors. And then we have details of Ion. Okay, he's the prisoner, I believe, or no, he's not the prisoner. One of the basically. So he's a monster. He's basically a mutagenic monster, and his lair done. I mean, I really like these maps. Are fantastic because there's so much more flavour and feel to them drawn this way rather than just an overhead map. And I do like a good, overview floor panel map. But as I say, that gives you lots to actually to look at for you as the referee, and then to actually describe that and bring that to the table. And then we have Ion's cultists. And I'm actually thinking, I've literally just done an unboxing of another role-playing game called Black Sword Hack, which is the sort of an old school Renaissance take upon the Eternal Champion and Elric. But I'm getting the feeling that this would actually kind of work as a location for those characters to explore. You've got a toxic wood, that needs rescuing. You have a strange magical device. You have a grand wizard, a prisoner. All these elements are sort of classic swords and sorcery, and then you've got a strange beast and cultists. That'd be great. In addition to playing a kind of standard fantasy role-playing game, with old school essentials, and I'm not saying that's nothing wrong with that, but essentially you could adapt this to a kind of an Elric kind of based or Eternal Champion based scenario. That would really kind of work. Anyway, you also have changelings, or twin sisters, living in the forest. There's a demon core at the end of it, and again, this is really quite arcane and weird. And a crashed meteor. It's getting better and better for wanting to sort of like really play up a swords and sorcery, high magic, weirdness kind of campaign. An abandoned tower to explore. Other locations: a mysterious bridge, portal stones, silver pools, split stone, a vine knight, and then a mushroom witch and a witch's house. So look, of course, a graveyard, and various NPCs, complete with illustrations. So you've got them numbered there, and then illustrations around on the other pages. So yeah, that's the Toxic Wood by the Lazy Lich. This looks to be a really fantastic, weird fantasy hexcrawl, suitable for for almost any old school Renaissance role-playing game, of your choice. They're all easily adaptable to one another, but of course you'll have your favourite. Anyway, so that's the Toxic Wood, a corrosive hexcrawl from Lazy Lich. If you've enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook, then please do click on the like button down below. And of course, if you've got any comments or feedback, I do appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to yet more unboxings than where you'll see me out here with a package containing a book or game which I will unbox and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea, then please do click on the subscribe button down below. Thanks again for watching another unboxing of the Nook. Be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.